It's funny because we've referred to ourselves throughout this whole process as just two ordinary guys who happen to be in love with each other and want to spend the rest of our lives with each other. And that's really who we are. We are ordinary guys who go to work every day, pay our bills, walk our dogs, and go on vacations and live our lives. That's really who we are. But I think that's sort of our message to everybody else, is ordinary people can make a decision to do extraordinary things.
My name is Paul Katami, and I am one of the plaintiffs in the Prop 8 case.
I'm Jeff Zarrillo. I'm also one of the plaintiffs in the Prop 8 case and his new husband. We became involved in this lawsuit about 4.5 years ago after Proposition 8 passed in California. The California Supreme Court had ruled that gays and lesbians had the right to marry early in 2008, and soon thereafter, opponents of that ruling put a measure on the ballot in California called Proposition 8 that would strip those rights away from gays and lesbians. And on Election Day in 2008, when America had elected its first African-American president, we'd come a long way. We really hadn't come as far as we thought, because the citizens of California also voted in favor of Proposition 8, which took the right for Paul and I to marry, and so many others like us to marry, away from us. And we decided at that point that enough was enough, and we wanted to do something about it.
It was about our love. It wasn't about anything else. And we knew that if we spoke the truth and kept it about our love, that represented so many millions of other people's exact desire to be married in a situation like Jeff and mine, that we would prevail.
In the trial, we had a 12-day trial, and the opposing attorney was asked a question by Judge Walker, and it said, "I want you to tell me the harm that allowing gays and lesbians to marry would cause opposite-sex couples." And then he said probably the three most famous words of the 12-day trial when he looked up at the judge and said, "I don't know." That was the moment that we knew we had won.
We hadn't really ever sat down and really talked about marriage, because we just always assumed we would never have the right. And when you assume that you'll never have the right, it's ingrained. It's almost ingrained in our community that we just allow discrimination to happen. And we fight it and we speak up, but you just accept it because you're always going to be that minority. And when people ask the question, do you think marriage would change your relationship after 12 years? We can finally say, yes, it changes everything. It makes everything better. And it actually really defines your relationship and solidifies everything that you think about your relationship becomes more real in those moments.
We could empathize with each other. We could share the frustration. We could share the pride. We could share the joy. We could share the anxiety together. And that part of our relationship and the foundation that had been built upon for over 8 years at the time that we became involved in this case, the foundation just got stronger.
I can remember being gay as long as I can remember being alive. And that's how naturally organic it is in me.
I've known I was gay as long as I can remember. I don't ever remember anything other than that. I remember being petrified of it. I remember not knowing what it meant. I remember not knowing if it could be changed. And then I remember realizing that this was who I was.
We lived for so long in hiding, and we really climbed this ladder on rungs built by those who came before us. People who really put their lives at risk to be who they are. And we live in a time now where we can be more open. And if we can, we should take that privilege and we should use it, because you have to remember that you can get on an airplane and go someplace else in our country and in our world and get off that plane and not have that privilege. And so when you have it, use it. And I think that's a big part. Use your voice and be a part of your community. I dream that we don't have to keep doing this. I dream that every brother and sister in our community across the country and in the world can actually live their lives and live their lives in a way where they don't have to feel discrimination or fear or regret, that they can just be who they are. Because the thing that affects us most recently, I think, is how many young people you hear about committing suicide or running away and living on the streets and so on and so forth because they're trying to just be who they are. And we don't know if that one kid who killed themselves could have cured cancer or made a major difference in this world. And the only reason they're not here any longer is because of discrimination, is because of someone's fear about their lifestyle. And it really neglects the person and labels them based on some bias or discrimination against what they fear. And so I dream of a day where kids like myself and like Jeff could grow up and not have to worry about that.
I think we live in a world of dreams. I think when you think of the struggle that the gay and lesbian community has gone through, and you think of the word dream, as we continue to grow and as we continue to evolve as a people and as a nation, then the dreams of Harvey Milk and the dreams of Bayard Rustin and those who came before us, we're living those dreams today for them. And I'm hopeful that we will live in a world very shortly where the dream of equality for the gay and lesbian community is a reality. But if that does not end up being the case by the time we leave this earth, then we hope that the next generation of gays and lesbians will live our dreams for us.